You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Chief Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Grimm After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Grimm After Show.
Hey there, Grimsters. Welcome to another edition of the Grimm After Show. I'm Zach Wilson. Joining me on today's podcast is my lovely co-host, Yael.
Hello, everyone.
And we're here to talk about episode 311, The Good Soldier.
Yep.
This will, first impressions right off the top.
First impressions, it was very Law and Order SVU-esque, which was very exciting as someone who watches SVU, but also very exciting to see Meet the Fuchsbau. Yes.
I was looking forward to Meet the Fuchsbau all week. Let's get started let's open up with our quote.
Yes.
We had eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, which is a Bible quote, actually, which is very different than the usual, like, fairy tale poetry thing. It's like, no, we're going to start with Exodus.
Yeah.
But it's from a passage about paying your dues, like paying for what you've done.
Yeah.
If you do something wrong, if you dig a hole and somebody's mule falls in it, you will pay for that mule.
Yeah.
You're responsible for it. And it's about taking responsibility for your crimes, for your actions.
And this week it was very literal. It was not poetic and a metaphor. It was a literal situation.
People are paying for things that they have done wrong in the past. We open up on our mystery girl, who we come to learn his name, Francesca, Frankie. She's got strange markings on her arm. We don't know what they are, lines and circles and who knows?
And O's.
Yeah, she's literally just gouging into her arm with a knife.
Yeah.
Oof. And she goes in and she like assaults this guy, and from the top, I sort of got that she was a rape victim.
Right?
But I like that throughout the episode I kind of doubted it. There were points where I was like, oh, maybe not. Oh, but it is. But it's not. Oh, but it is.
Because they said it, they held on to it for so long.
It was good.
It was good. I liked that they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get that. What did you? I was very Vesson of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. They're back to the procedural.
Yeah. It was good. Like, I really liked the Manticore storyline, which we'll get into a little bit more in a bit, but it was very, like, straightforward. Like you say, SVU. That's what it felt like. It felt like a Law and Order with a Vesson in it.
Yeah, basically.
Do you think that we're going to see a lot of that? We still have a good 10 episodes or so left in this season.
I think that when it comes down to it, seasons are split up with here's the beginning of the over-season arc. Here is the middle where there's a big twist and we're going on hiatus.
Yep.
And then there's the conclusion at the end. And we're in filler episode territory.
We're in the middle of January.
Yeah, it's we'll get something really exciting in February for sweeps, and then back to more fillers, and then season finale.
Yeah. But it was a good episode. It was very
it.
much like when I talk about Grimm and I talk about how it's like a cop procedural with fairy tale stuff, but it's super dark.
Yeah.
This was a super dark storyline.
Yeah.
Talk about literally gang rape.
Yes.
Dealing with gang rape in Iraq.
Yes, soldier on soldier gang rape.
Well, I mean, let's get right into the nitty-gritty of it. We meet up with the guy who former sergeant Ron. Yeah, Ron, who I've recognized from somewhere. I'm not sure. I've recognized like half this cast.
Been in stuff.
Frankie was Emily Rios, who we saw most recently in Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
she played Brock's mother. She was great on Breaking Bad, and she was great in this episode.
Yeah.
So we see them. We know there's something going on there. And as we get more into it, it gets more and more confusing. They keep throwing new stuff at us with like, I'm going to throw you in jail. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Because I thought he was a cop because they call him sergeant.
Right. I think that was the whole first scene where she's attacking him and then we get that she's the victim, is this scene where they're just like, we want you to know that something is up, and we're going to confuse you as much as possible so that when we tell you what actually happened, you go, oh, that's what it was.
And I love the manticore creature.
Yes.
That was just such a, like you see the low in face, and you like before you really know, and like now that I've researched what a manticore is, like it's very much a mythological creature.
I definitely thought they made it up.
Yeah, well, it almost like hinted. I liked that the manticore. It seemed to be like a hybrid, like say it's part Lowen.
Yeah.
So that kind of like explains where this like creature that's like part scorpion and part lion came from. Some of the myths, because it comes out of Persian mythology for the most part, and they talk about it being sphinx-like.
Right.
But this could kind of explain why we have these sort of like hybrid creatures, which again we keep asking, what happens when you have two different Vessen have a child?
I think they're really trying to like give us as much information as they can before we get there.
Before we get Monroe and Rosalie, which we're not talking about yet. It's just too big a topic to get into. So much to talk about there.
But the manticore, I really liked that. The first, you know how when you see the Vessen for the first time, you have a quick like, oh, cat, oh, dog, oh, bird.
Yeah.
Like you get a genre of species. And this one, I was like, ooh, lion. And then all of a sudden, scorpion tail. Loved it. It was really exciting.
I joked last week about it reminded me of an Andalite just because of the scorpion tail, and then more this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of you out there probably do not know what an Andalite is. Go read Animorphs. As long as you can put yourself in the mind of a 12-year-old for like a day.
Which I think Grimm fans definitely can.
Yes. My favorite alien creatures ever. Part horse, part person, part scorpion.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Awesome.
And then, as we go on, we meet Jim McCabe, the really shady guy who runs a security company.
The sleaziest guy that I would never trust to secure my home.
Yeah, now do your research into security home systems, people, because they could be run by manticores.
Not just manticores, gang raping manticores.
But then it keeps going, and we meet more and more of this little army group, these four guys who are responsible for this, and we see the different levels of. Like, Ron just kind of, like, tried to get on with his life. You could tell he wasn't proud of it.
Right.
Like, he really just, like, was like, stay away. I don't want any part of this.
Yeah. And then we've got Troy. Who found Ron.
The one who regrets.
Poor Troy.
He really... I almost wondered if he was involved, like, he actually did it. Or if he was just, like, an accomplice. Like, if he stood there, he's just as responsible as anyone that was involved.
Do you think that because he was the weakest link, he probably didn't do it himself?
I mean, they set him up to be kind of a nice guy. I don't want to.
Let's not call him a nice guy. Let's call him the weakest guy.
Yes, okay. But he's got a wife. He's, like, trying to do right. He's the one that, like, he confesses.
He wants to confess,
He literally, he feels guilty, whereas everyone else they don't.
Right.
They're very selfish about it. I have a compulsion to like redeem people in TV shows, even when they're horrible. Like I want them to do something to redeem themselves.
Right.
He came the closest.
That I will agree. He came the closest. I don't think any of them redeemed themselves.
No, not by any means.
No.
But
we also had Bobby Hammond, I think is what I wrote. I can't even read my own handwriting.
Well, we didn't even get to meet him. He just died.
He died before the show started.
But then when we get into it, we meet the Colonel.
Colonel Adam Desai.
See, I totally missed his name. I just was calling him the Colonel.
Colonel Adam Desai.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But he gives us the moral confusing point, of that we get in a lot of good Grimm episodes. He went out to get revenge for Frankie. He knew that she couldn't do it. He knew he was going to die and that these guys would never be punished.
Yeah. And it was amazing. The way he did it and he's the good guy. You may call him a good guy in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, he's a murdering good guy, but a good guy.
Whatever. He's a good guy.
But he sets the whole thing up. He plays it like a finely tuned instrument. He knows how the cops are going to come in there, and he sets it all up so that Jim McCabe goes down for something. He goes down for murder at the end of the day.
Undeniable.
Yeah. The cops were in the room.
Irrefutable proof. Great.
Which that was a badass fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Manticore versus Manticore.
It was great.
Which they set up there, like when they bring Juliet in just to like give Bitsy a day on set, I guess. Like there's no reason for her to help them with their research other than
I'll look through a book today.
Well, that was
payday.
To jump back a little bit, we were like that was my biggest issue with this episode is that Nick didn't matter. This felt like the very beginning of season 1 where you had these really strong other characters. You had Monroe, who I was just like instantly like just fell in love with as a character. He was great. And then Nick was this flat like leading man that was just driving the story forward. Yeah,
it definitely did feel a lot like season 1 where he's like, I'm a Grimm, do some stuff. Oh, I've never heard of this. Let's look through a book. I found it.
You have oh, Captain Renard, what's he up to? What's he doing? Oh, Monroe, he's got all this crazy stuff going on. Nick is there.
Researching.
He could just be a cop who happens to see cool stuff.
He really, it really could have been a cop who saw, hey, a murder. I'm gonna figure it out. Oh, look, these guys know each other. They've been murdered.
Yep.
Great.
But see, there's Vessin all over the place. We're seeing more and more because, like, even though Frankie's not a Manticore, she totally is a Vessin. They're just everywhere. Now, they're like in entire military units. The Vessin are beating up on other Vessin. Like,
well, that's the thing though, is that Sergeant Ron, and Troy were human. Were they not?
Were they? I guess they were. Well, they were never established as, but they were not Manticore.
Yeah, they weren't Manticore. And I think I really expected Frankie to turn out to be human as well. When they were like, we know what you are. You're a Manticore. I expected her to be like, what are you talking about?
And then Nick's like, nothing. Don't listen to us.
Yeah, right. We're crazy cops.
But this was a good way to like for it to be definitive, like because you could say she was hiding it, and then Nick keeps pressing her, and she's just like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
But now we got more definitive proof. She's not a Manticore.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on, I want to take a brief second to talk about iTunes.
Yeah.
Guys. We love talking about Grimm.
Yeah, we do.
This is one of my favorite shows to do each week. And one thing that really helps us out, because there's a lot of shows at AfterBuzz. There's something like 60 shows going on right now.
At this moment.
At this moment. No, but there's like 50 shows regularly coming out each week. And what helps keep us at the top of the pack, what helps keep us at the top of the Grimm pack, is when you go onto iTunes and YouTube and you rate us, when you subscribe, you can just click the little subscribe button. That way we get delivered to you every week. And we love talking about it, and that's how we get to keep talking about it. We don't get paid to do this, but it helps keep the lights on here at AfterBuzz. And give us a rating, send us a comment, tell us what you like to hear, tell us what you don't like to hear. What do you want to hear more about? What do you want to talk about? Because we want to hear from the fans. We're fans too.
Oh yeah.
That's why we do this, and so we want to know your thing. I want to shout out some people who have been commenting.
Yeah.
Liza Munez, love the show. 1757 PVP FTW. That's their username.
I love it.
I'm sure it means something to you, and you love the show, so we love you. Thank you for listening.
And we love you. Whatever. What is it? What is their name? Where are we? 175.
Michael B. and another person. Thank you for listening. Brit K1. Thank you for listening. Everybody. Buffy VS, I believe it was, sent us a really nice comment. Says that we're very entertaining, and we appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
But yeah, please go on there, slap us with a 5-star rating or whatever you think is appropriate. And now let's get back to the topics at hand. Monroe and Rosalie.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. So much to talk about. All right, so we get there right at the top of the show. We open up, and Monroe comes in with this like really nice quote, and he's just like, "Life is a scale upon which is measured the depth of a man's soul."
Aww.
Which is like only Monroe will open up with like something just like randomly
poetic,
deep like that. And then really quick, we get the letter from Mom.
Mm-hmm. Which I just want to point out, he was snooping. It was not like sitting on top of the book. It was tucked into that book. He was snooping. No one's gonna. Okay, sure.
I mean, they live together now.
Not an excuse to snoop. All right, he gets the letter.
So I guess we can move past the
We're
snooping.
moving past it. I just wanted it noted.
He's nice enough that you kind of have to forgive him.
Right. No,
for
he
snooping.
can snoop on me. That's fine.
Well, she gets the letter from Mom, and we reestablished she hasn't spoken to her family in 7 years.
7 years.
We don't really know a lot of why, but then she sends an email. They're going to go.
Yeah.
Really quick, we know we're going down there at some point soon. And then we get to meet the family.
Oh, yes.
Which Mom comes out with this big smile.
She was so much nicer than I expected.
Yeah, the mom was really nice. The sister was what we expected to get.
Dieta.
Dieta, what a name.
What a name. I had to write it phonetically. I don't even know how you spell Dieta.
God only knows how I spelled it. What did you think of the whole family scenes? Like
the dinner?
Yeah, the whole dinner.
I think it was. I expected the mother and the sister, Gloria the mom and Dieta the sister, to be a lot not meaner, but I expected that the tension was going to be greater, and it was really big with Dieta and Rosalie, but Gloria was just excited to have her daughter back.
Yeah,
it's as though like she was just sitting around for 7 years being like, I wonder if Rosalie's going to respond to me one day. Like, there was no tension between them, and that really disappointed me. But other than that, everything else was great, and we got Rosalie's really a bigger, better backstory. We got to see what happened to her and how she went from, a great, innocent girl to a darker path, and then back to this great, innocent, clean, nice girl.
Yeah, I mean, I went into it, what I was, like, waiting for, what I wanted to see was, like, a rom-com, Meet the Fuchsbau, really like a Meet the Parents episode, where it's just silly fun. This was better TV than what I had, like...
Well, Monroe isn't the Ben Stiller character. He isn't the I'm gonna mess everything up.
No, but he's silly enough.
Yeah.
That, like, I didn't mean we're getting the exact plot of Meet the Parents, but, like... I wanted awkward moments of like little Fuchsbau children climbing all over the blue pot.
That's true. That would have been adorable.
Like, that kind of silly stuff. And we got like a nice little like Fuchsbau versus blue pot moment where she sneaks up behind him in full vogue, and he just whips around. He's like, "What the hell?" And that was a great moment because like Dieta throughout their dinner is very much in her face, in Rosalie's face. She's like, "No. She hates her sister.
Yeah.
She's so mad.
Right.
Which her career as a traveling salesman or something.
Well, because of Rosalie's, thoughtless actions, Dieta was forced to give up her own dreams and come home.
Yeah.
And I guess, I understand that. I get why you would be upset with someone.
Yeah. I just thought they could have given her a bigger dream. That I can't remember exactly what the job was, but it wasn't very exciting. Yeah.
Was she a dental assistant?
No, it was something bigger than that, but it wasn't anything impressive.
No offense to anyone.
Whoever has her career, I didn't mean any offense by it.
We mean in terms of plot.
Yes.
No, I agree. I think that could have been a bigger deal in the story. I think it was really... wonderful to hear why it was that Rosalie missed her father's funeral.
Yeah, she was in prison.
Jail.
Is that...
There's a difference.
Okay,
That's fine.
She was in jail.
For shoplifting.
For shoplifting. And she stole a watch.
So cute. Oh, that was the most romantic part of the whole episode.
But like that was a really heartfelt moment from Rosalie. Like she's confessing that like this isn't something she's brought up on the show before. Like we've talked about her drug addiction, but not going to jail.
No.
And it was painful to listen to. Like if you can't imagine missing your father's funeral for shoplifting a watch.
Right.
It's such a huge consequence for something so dumb.
And then it led to an even bigger consequence of not speaking to your family for 7 years.
Yeah. Not knowing what to say.
Yeah.
What can you say? Like, if you don't admit that and you know your family's mad at you, what can you really do?
Yeah.
Well, you can wait 7 years, I guess.
Apparently.
But that turned around the sister's opinion. Like, she finally saw that this wasn't, Rosalie didn't do it on purpose.
Right.
She wasn't tripping out on drugs and not coming to
Yeah, she wasn't
funeral.
partying.
Exactly.
She was in trouble. I really liked when Dieta finally came around and her threat to Monroe. She said, all right, like clearly I've made a mistake with my sister and she's not a terrible person. She made a mistake and I will forgive her. I'm reading into the subtext. None of this was actually spoken.
No, but it's totally what she said.
Yeah. And then she said to Monroe, don't hurt her.
And I've totally tried to threaten my little sister's boyfriends before. It never works.
It's really cute to see a Fuchsbau do it because Fuchsbau, you see Rosalee and Alicia, they're these gentle creatures. And then you see Dieta and she's, Rah! Oh, it was great.
Well, but she still wasn't very threatening against like Monroe's blue bot face, which is like, just scary.
And he's like a head taller than her. Yeah. Oh, it was great.
But it's what she meant by it that really counted.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Let's move on. Let's talk about the other like little quick subplot that we got here,
which was not supposed to be a quick subplot.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing that it was so fast,
especially because of the way it was in the trailer last week.
Yeah, they played it up as a big part of the episode. We're talking about Adalind in Virginia, Vienna, Virginia.
Someone's tired.
It's if you're not watching this live, but it's very late at night. And so Renard has sent his guy
to spy on
in the Resistance to spy on Adalind. She's sitting in a coffee shop, seemingly minding her own business, when she gets a contraction. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh, this is gonna be it. We're gonna get the baby.
So disappointing.
And then but then we get something even more bizarre in that telekinesis abilities start popping up. Yep. She moves a cup with her hand, and she like zips it back. Don't ignore the left one.
You don't have telekinetic powers.
No, I'm working on it.
All right.
It's
moving
along.
Yeah.
I guess I just have to get pregnant with a half royal, half Hexen Beast baby, and then go through some weird process where I kill somebody and
rub blood on your
and gather
stomach.
dead flowers.
Yeah,
and
do it.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's in process. I've applied to the program.
Great. Well, so when Renard hears that her telekinesis has returned and that her powers are coming back.
So is that a Hexen Beast? Is telekinesis a Hexen Beast power?
I think it's more that she has magical powers because Hexen Beasts are like witches, I believe.
Yeah, but I don't think they have like
telekinesis.
Yeah, I feel like I would remember that.
I think it's not exactly telekinesis. I think it was more of when a Hexen Beast, like a witch, would make a spell. She was like, wouldn't it be nice if my coffee was in my hand? Boop, there it is. That's her spell. I don't think it's telekinesis. I think it's a Hexen Beast wish thing.
Okay.
That made sense in my head.
Well, yeah, I mean, but she could be getting, I think it's something else. I don't think it's a Hexen Beast power. I think this is something darker.
Do you think it's the baby has power?
Maybe.
Because that's a thing people do, right?
I mean, because Renard's guy, I don't even know if he has a name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he was surprised. Like, this wasn't, if it was just a Hexen Beast power, he would know. He'd be like, her powers are returning. And it would have been very simple.
I believe it was said that her powers are returning.
Yes, but this was something else.
Okay.
He was very much like, then something weird happened.
Yes, that's true.
And then she gets bigger contractions and the lights all blow.
Yeah.
Which he's like, I think it was coincidence. Yeah, it was a coincidence.
Right.
Come on.
Then Renard says, I think the most important sentence was, won't be long now. The baby's coming soon.
Yeah, which we get is the contractions. Thank you, Renard, for spelling it out for us.
Well, it's not necessarily that she's in labor, but it's coming soon.
It's coming soon. I can't wait.
You can't wait?
Till she gives birth. And then we get we get to see what happens when this baby's born.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a baby who has been given the worst kinds of prenatal vitamins, which is directing her. I mean, what do you think is going to be the consequence of all that? Because it's not just, they're not just doing it for the sake of it.
Right.
It's clearly not a placebo.
Yeah. Why is it that no one cares for this child? Like, everyone's excited that there's a baby because they want to buy it, or she wanted to trade it for her powers.
I think Renard does.
I don't think he wants it because it could be his child. I think he wants it for the power of it. The power of this baby that is a royal and part of the bloodline.
You know what? My feeling on that, I don't think he even wants the power. I don't think Renard wants power necessarily. He just wants to destroy his family, his family's power.
Right. But I mean, no one is excited that she's pregnant for the sake of there's a baby coming into the world.
Maybe for now.
Right.
But wait till Adalind's holding that baby.
Yeah.
Could we see a shift, do you think, in her allegiance? Right now, she's very much, I'm on my own side. I am taking care of myself first.
Yeah, I'm having this baby for my powers.
Yeah. Once it comes out, is she going to suddenly become a mother and start protecting this child?
People say that's what happens when you have a baby. I don't know.
I think it might be a little bit of a big twist for her from her true personality, but there's a lot of potential there. This baby's going to become very important.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And I'm very excited to see what kind of darkness comes with it.
Yeah.
If it's still a baby in there.
Yeah.
Who even knows at this point?
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Maybe it comes out and it's a Fuchsbau. That would be so cute.
That would be the weirdest twist ever.
But it would also be adorable. I really
mean,
just want to see a little Fuchsbau, which I think we might get one day.
Maybe it comes out in permanent vogue.
Why?
As a Hexenbeast. I'm trying to think what could all the things they've been doing, what could the end result be? That's
an excellent question. Rubbing all the whatever's on her.
I mean, is it going to force a baby allegiance to a certain thing? Because they say that there's a lot of power in a royal's blood. Right. We've learned a little bit. We saw what Renard was able to do with Juliet, how much he could save her. Yeah. The royals are something I guess once the baby's born, we're going to get a lot more of. And understand of who they are and what they do. Yeah, what the royals are, what they're capable of. Yeah. It's a whole world we have not explored.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. So before we get to predictions and stuff, I'm going to take a real quick aside and talk about the graphic novel check-in of the week. This week we dropped the Warlock miniseries, and we went back to the regularly numbered. There's like two different series going on, I guess. All right, it's like two stories.
Sure.
But this one we got a little Asian bug samurai creature. It's called a Hadusheru. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like many of our Vessen. Yeah. But there's a Japanese Vessen, which we haven't really seen before. It was really cool. It was like all armored and stuff. And one of the things that the graphic novels have been really fun. The art's fantastic. It's been very consistent throughout the series. But we get to see more of like what we don't get to see in the series is a lot of the big action, like that Nick's weapon closet coming out to play. And this was like weapons are out. There's a samurai running around, a Vessen samurai running around in shiny armor. So if you get a chance, go check it out. It's a fun little book. And just like most of these comics, they're just like very, very similar to episodes. They feel like episodes.
I love this. I love that we get to hear about the graphic novel each week. I think that's my favorite part of our...
I think next week is a week off from the graphic novel, but there will be coming more. This one, instead of being a one-off like the last episode, issue 8 was a backstory to Marie, which was cool. We don't get to know a lot about her story, but this one is going to keep going and continue on. So... I would like to talk for a second about, we have some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay. First up, some casting for this season. We have Keith David is going to play Hyde, a traveling carnival ringmaster.
Awesome.
I guess he's got a Vesson little thing. Keith David, if you're not familiar with the name, he was in Platoon, The Thing. You can currently see him on Enlisted, a new Fox show. I guess we're gonna get a Vesson Carnival.
Oh, awesome!
And he's going to be protecting the trying to make the carnival successful at all costs.
Ooh.
That's what the press release says.
Do you know about when?
Sometime this season. I didn't catch the episode number.
All right, this season.
And then we're also gonna get Anne Dudek, who you may be familiar from House and Covert Affairs.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to be playing an archaeologist professor who unearths and is investigating a 3,000-year-old coffin with the carving of Anubis on it.
Ooh.
Which is great. I love if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know, I love the Grimm history lessons.
Yeah.
Like when we get all this history that we know from real life, we get a Vesson explanation on it. So I would love to see all the crazy creatures that we see, like in Egyptian hieroglyphics, explained with Vesson.
That would be awesome.
Maybe Anubis was a Klausstrike, an alley cat or something. But the big news this week on the Grimm Pickup Watch, Greenblatt, president of NBC, was quoted as saying the prospects for Grimm are looking very, very good for a season 4 pickup. He said the odds are not grim.
Ha!
And
he's so clever.
Oh yeah, that Greenblatt. But with that, let's move on to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, the big thing for next week, the proposal.
Ugh. The proposal.
So those of you that didn't catch the next week on, we're getting Monroe and Rosalie proposal.
Finally.
Yeah, because we didn't have enough time with them.
This week we're seeing his parents next week, correct?
Yes, and we're getting some racist parents.
Yeah.
Which they don't approve of the Fuchsbau relationship.
Yeah, they're not into
they're
interspecies.
definitely not going to approve of a Grimm.
Yeah. Predictions. Here's my thought for next week. Monroe's racist parents are going to not be okay with Rosalie, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I think his proposal is going to be, instead of a real proposal, I think it's going to be well, if you guys don't like her, I don't care, we're going to get married kind of proposal. And that it's going to end up with a big fight, which will eventually obviously get with them together. I think there's going to be some sort of fallout with Monroe's parents and Nick that's going to be a strain on their relationship. And I think the baby is not coming till the end of the season.
I agree the baby's not going to come for a little while.
Yeah, no.
But I think we're going to start to see some movement in Vienna. I doubt Renard's guy was the only one that saw the that incident.
Yeah.
The lights blew out. It's not a small thing. And we know she's got cameras trained on her.
Right.
I think we're going to start to see some movement from the royals. I agree for the most part on what you're saying about next week. Yeah. I think we're going to see that the parents come out, and that's going to cause... I think the parents are going to be there because of the proposal, but either way, it's going to be more dramatic.
I think they're going to show up as a surprise.
A surprise?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a, hey, we were in town kind of thing.
Bloop bots have shown up for dinner.
Yeah. I also think it's really interesting that we're seeing this whole a lot more of Monroe and Rosalee's families. And I think that will lead to Nick's mother returning at some point as well.
That would be fantastic. Yeah. I just I want to see more Grimms.
Yeah.
It's this whole part of the puzzle that is missing. There's no stuff at any point that their Grimms are being killed off, that Nick's the last of the Grimm or anything like that. There are Grimms everywhere. There are Grimms out there. Where?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah. Why aren't there more Grimms beheading people? Like, they're supposed to behead people. I think there should be more heads in the rest of the world.
Yeah,
just rolling around.
We hear about this plague of beheadings across the planet. The only other Grimm we've seen is in the graphic novels, and those might as well not be. Those aren't canon. Yeah. For all intents and purposes.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we have a lot to look forward to with the rest of this season.
Yes.
We still have a good ways to go, and that's something to look forward to. So keep tuning in, guys. Thank you so much for listening to us talk about Grimm. I can't wait for next week. I'm already on the edge of my seat.
After meeting the Fuchsbau was not the biggest story of the week. I'm nervous to get excited.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I guess we're getting another Parents episode next week, but it should be good. Yeah. It'll be fun. Yael, where can the people find you?
The people can find me online at Yael TV. That's www.yael.tv, and on Twitter at Yael Tygiel, YAELTYGIEL.
I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. And you can also catch me on Almost Human, Helix, and Archer here at AfterBuzz. Ooh. Thank you for listening, Grimsters.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.